You're listening to the Here for the Clout podcast. Here are your hosts, Sherilyn Dale and Cece Suarez. Yeah, baby.
Gasp of anticipation. Hello, Clout Queens, Kings, and in-betweens. Welcome back to the Here for the Clout podcast. I am one of your hosts, Chelsea Suarez, and this virtual viral vixen is your other host, Sherilyn Dale.
Oh, I love this. Wow. I love them all. That might be my favorite. I say that every episode.
I know. Yeah, no, I think your favorite is still supple sandwich.
Now I want a sandwich again.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Real bad.
Makes me want a hot dog real bad.
Yeah.
How was your weekend, babe?
Oh my gosh, let me tell you. I don't know, I kind of blacked out. What did we do this weekend? It was tough. It was real tough. Someone has molars coming in.
Oh.
And then he got sick, but then he wasn't sick. Tony tried to gaslight me. He was like, no, that kid's sick. I was like, that kid ain't sick. It's molars. I know what's happening. Yeah, he was just a big old cuddle bug this weekend and all sad. And we had a great time though. We went on so many family outings to Home Depot and Lowe's and Target.
He loves a good Home Depot moment.
Girl, both of them.
Yes,
all three of
that's
us,
true.
really.
I was talking about Bean, but
Yeah. No, Bean, girl, get me and that kid in the garden section. It's going off.
you know what? I think that's what I'm going to do after work today. After we're done filming, I think I'm going to go to Home Depot. I haven't gone to the garden section this year, and I do need a couple planters. I know.
This year, girl, I'm there
I know I'm really
at least
lacking.
4 times a week.
We did go to get scope out the patio set to figure out kind of what we want, and got a little tiny sectionals for the girls. But yeah, I didn't really get to look at anything else besides that. In and out. Wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
And thank you, ma'am.
One time my sister Coco and I, you guys, I have to update you too, because she saw that Goldie made it onto the podcast, but she's like, you missed the best part of it. But hold on. One time in Home Depot, Coco and I spent a lady's entire shift with her. We were like besties. I think her name was Dee. Love her. This was 2 years ago. But yeah, we just went to go scope out some of the, I love patio furniture. That's where we were.
Did this lady consent to you, or were you
she was
shadowing her?
Yeah, we kind of were. She really had a good time with us, though. We were sitting on everything, trying things out, discussing, calling, the husbands to see what would be a good idea, calling our mom, leaving, then coming back. She literally left by the end when we finally made our decision of what we were wanting, and then our stepdad came to get it in his truck. She was like, bye. We're like, okay, we spent your entire shift with you here. So that was fun. But you guys, Goldie. Okay, so you remember I said that she ate the entire vitamins, wouldn't admit, she would rather just admit death. Or accept death.
And she was like, hypothetically, do we need to take Goldie, her imaginary friend, to the hospital to get her stomach pumped?
She also was taking Lynn down with her because my mom was like, do you swear on my life? And she's like, yes. And just no skipping. Yeah, so I missed that part. She's like, you missed the part where I literally swore on mom's life that it wasn't me, it was Goldie. And then whenever mom would ask to talk to Goldie, he was in Hawaii. So he was well traveled. He obviously had money too.
Goldie was a man.
Yeah, she referred to him as he. Also, another time Goldie got into a permanent marker at my dad and stepmom's house. So
yeah,
my dad was watching, or let's be real, my stepmom was watching Nicole for my mom, and got a Sharpie all over our walls. Goldie did it though. Yeah, Goldie's been up to a lot.
I feel like it's a whole new, I need her to draw him, because now that I know that Goldie identifies as a man.
Yeah.
Also, happy Predmonth.
Yeah.
That's crazy. We have a little gay segment that we'll go over at the end of today's episode. Get excited.
Yes.
Someone said, they were like, oh, I remember you had said that that your Do We Know Them's sister podcast. I was like, not really. We're kind of just their unhinged gay cousin. And they were like, "Oh my God, you are." I was like, "Yeah, no,
That's-
they're very organized. They're
They're
very
a full production conglomerate over
Yeah.
there. We
Meanwhile, me and Cher are like, "What are we talking about today?"
lit every time. I was like, so which one
Listen,
is this? What are we doing?
What number? Girl, this is 61 or 60.
We hit 50s already?
Glad you're here. glad you've been a part of this podcast.
Listen, it doesn't feel like numbers if you're just having fun. It feels like the first time every time.
You know what? Cheers to that. Oh, instead of cheersing our drinks, we should cheers our microphones. Cheers. Ooh, you tickled me on that one.
It gave you a little shock.
love it.
Okay, I will. For the next episode, I will have Coco draw out what Goldie looked like. Because I don't really know either. I do know that, yes, Goldie's a man, well-traveled, loved Hawaii. Anytime
I feel like he has a
someone needed to talk to him.
mustache.
Do you? I don't know yet. We can't guide her, though, because I don't want to
You're right.
She won't hear
Yeah.
this. She literally only, she's like, Goldie, clip about me, I'm invested. Other than that, she's like, bye.
Yeah, that's the same with Tony. Tony's never watched any of our podcasts, doesn't even know the name of it, literally can't tell you what I do for a living. But he sees like some of the clips and he's like, "Oh, that one was funny." And I was like, "I don't know why you're surprised. Like, I'm an entertainer."
Brent won't watch anything unless it has to do with him and Tony or Tony. And then he asks like 10 times a day, what's everybody saying about me? Do they love us?
Nothing, Brent.
Do they want Tony and I back?
No,
Get over it.
they actually don't. Thanks both of you. So what I did do this weekend, though, to circle back to that, because I can circle back to things, I had some fun poking the bear this weekend. No, I do not mean choking the chicken or punching the clown. I did have fun doing that, though. Those are really aggressive.
I was going to say.
Like, I'm just beating up Tony's wiener. Well,
Yeah.
So anyways, someone texted me and was like, Elizabeth is live. Elizabeth Treckenbrock is live on. Listen, at this point, I don't know her name and it's none of my business.
We
but
need Ethan just to do a compilation of all of the last names you've given her.
There are a lot of compilations. I need people to do that. Is one of them. No, thank you. But she was live on TikTok, and for some reason, she refuses to block me on TikTok. Thanks, I guess. I don't know. And she's blocked everyone else, though. And she was live. So, of course, Cher texted me. I got in there super quickly and started screen recording. And I was like, you know what? This is going to sound mean. Stay with me. But I feel, sometimes you just want to like shit up to feel something. Gonna pick a fight with your husband just to see what it feels like because your relationship's a little bit too healthy.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted some excitement in my day, so I decided I'm going to make her spiral a little bit while positioning myself as the more professional of us, too. As one does. That's probably my specialty, actually, when it comes to being petty on the internet. So I simply commented on her live stream and said something along the lines of, Elizabeth, can you please answer my email or respond to my email? I'll send it again. You would have thought that I made fun of her grandmother and mother and called her kids ugly and stupid, which I would never do. Her kids are adorable and they should not be held accountable for their mom.
Yeah.
However, she did not like it.
No.
And I haven't.
I've seen clips of what's been going on, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah, because I was responding to Sherilyn and she's like, I can't see.
I know.
Like, yeah, I know. And I was going to send it to her earlier, but I was like, you know what? Let's get a live reaction of Sherilyn reacting, whatever. And the thing is that with Elizabeth Teckenbrock, if you're not aware, she is a con artist that is on really a serial con artist at this point. And she has potentially, allegedly, arguably, maybe, possibly scammed people out of, not like each person, but like collectively, like as a whole, probably around like over, I'd say at least over $2 million.
Yeah. We're definitely there now. Like, as more people are coming forward and feeling like they're able to talk about what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you include her ex-husband in that as well, which a lot of people don't, which I think is crazy, but yeah, he was scammed out of quite a lot of money, and I don't know, man, it's truly wild. You should obviously not get married super fast because, like, hey, they could be a con artist. What do you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously not his fault, but also, like, Andrew, why'd you stay for so long?
Yeah. I mean, in hindsight, I think it's felt like long for us, like, hearing the story back, but I could, like, understand it was pretty fast. Like, they were, like, in and out in, like, 2 years. And
I know,
things,
yeah.
So it seems long, right? But when you're kind of, like, compiling things together, and then, like, as he explains, like, what, you know, like, when everything, like, started unraveling, then yes, then you're like, you should have been out that minute. But again, easier said than done, especially when kids are involved, especially when he's lost everything. Like, his house had gone into foreclosure at this point. He lost one of his businesses. Like, it was a shit. I can't even imagine. It does bother me when people are like, oh, he's crazy. What I'm like, it's like, I get it. Like, somebody's personality you don't have to like, but that does not excuse what happened to them.
No, completely. And a lot of people who are like, oh, he's creepy. And it's like, because he doesn't have good camera presence and because he repeats himself ad nauseum. And it's like, girl, how's your camera presence?
Yeah.
Like, just because someone has horrible camera presence, I mean, it's not even that bad, but
no, he's gotten a lot better, but that's also
thank
like,
God.
And good for him for like still sticking it out and going, you know, like pushing on, because at first, like, yeah, he was getting run off because he was kind of chaotic, but what are you going to do if you've never been on like social media before?
Yeah.
And that's a big part of like why her cancer con had gone on the way that it did too, because like he wasn't seeing, of course he's being told by her and like seeing the emails from the oncologists that she has cancer, but not to the degree of what was on social media and what she was portraying, because he wasn't on it ever.
Well, and if she was keeping her friends and him more separated, which it seems like she did, to attempt to control the narrative that she was spinning, but then also like he was busy with work and his businesses, and then also with the kids once they had the kids too, because it seemed like she didn't really do much with the kids, which is crazy. I don't know. I just can't imagine, like, and this is not me trying to like mom shame at all. It's me comparing my family dynamic and like household responsibilities and stuff to hers. But like, arguably, like me and Tony are as busy as, you know, he is, right? As Andrew is or was at that time. And it's like, okay, they had 2 young kids. Me and Tony have 1. But it's like, I just can't imagine just being like, okay, you do this and I'm going to go out
every night.
Like but also like, girl, last time I went out by myself, I got roofied. I'm not trying to do that again. Yeah. Which crazy. That happened like a year ago. Isn't that wild that was a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. I basically died. Insane.
Yeah.
Super cute. So anyways, yeah, like I don't want to go out without my husband.
Right.
Because like I don't want to get murdered or skinned alive, because obviously that's what's going to happen with my luck. But then again, like obviously their relationship was completely different, and like that's not really comparable. But
no,
it's just I just can't imagine like as a mom doing that, and obviously like like having your own friends, having your own life, whatever. But it's like those are tiny ass babies. What are you doing?
Yeah, at that age, it's just like, it is. I personally think like quite telling, because like usually in those moments, it's like you don't want to like get your kid off of you at that point, right? Like you've got like that instinct to just be like, okay, we got to feed, we got to do. It's just, again, don't want to mom shame.
I don't think she has that instinct.
I don't think so either. And that's unfortunate. And again, some people just don't. But don't, the way that she uses her children as a shield all the time, and she, like, time and time again, like, that's all they are to her, is a pawn, right? Like, she. Yeah. It's a facade. I think we've done a really good job at, I don't want to say spinning that narrative, but illustrating that with the, you know, they had like was it the TRO? And then he couldn't. It was like a temporary
schedule. And so like he couldn't see the kids at a certain time, but then she was just with some other guy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, what the like,
And then her friends had to watch the kids. And then the friends called Andrew to be like, hey, can you come get your kids? Because Elizabeth is saying she can't and I have things to do. And he's like, no, because the schedule says this and this is for another like couple weeks and I'm not risking not having them, period.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, she put me and herself and I guess you in this situation, and I'm not risking not seeing them when this is like when the time is up. So there's just so much. And for people who haven't listened to everything that Andrew's put out there, like our podcast up to this point, that really kind of goes into the parenting and like using the kids as an excuse. I saw like from the clips yesterday too, like she very much is still doing that. Like she's saying she'll never admit everything that she's done, takes accountability and acknowledges, but will never say it out loud.
But like
and
acknowledges what?
She kept
Like,
she kept saying, because I'm a mom and that's not in the best interest of like my kids. That's not the best for my kids. And the way that she was saying
You're
it
not
too,
the best for your kids.
well, the way she's saying it, I'm like, there was one point where she's like, you know, that would just be really stupid of me to do. Yeah, if you admit to what Andrew is alleging, especially when it comes to 75-year-old Richard Powell, that she's conned, $800,000 from, then she can be charged. She has to admit it, and she won't. So no, you're not taking accountability. And she's saying behind the scenes, she's like, you know, been like, taking accountability with people in her life. It's like not any of the people that we've talked to that you've really over. So who are you taking accountability with?
The only person that I know for a fact that she apologized to was Rachel. But then like 4 days later, she's like making video about Rachel, who was her ex-best friend. And she didn't apologize to Joaquin, for my friend who was her most recent landlord. Mm-hmm. And her and her friend McKay trashed his rental unit. Did you
see her being asked about that in the live? I saw a clip of it. I don't know at what point this was, but someone said, are you still living with McKay? And she's like, no, we're not living together anymore. She's moved. I've moved. I'm not telling anybody where I am. But I just saw her like over my birthday. So she's implying that like they're still really good, but not explaining why they're not living together anymore. It's like, because you got evicted. You trashed his house. You abandoned your dog.
Yeah. So she also said, because someone was like, oh, how did you save up to get, like, because she said she was living with her grandma, and then she's like, oh yeah, I moved out and I like got us this new place, which I doubt it, but it was just interesting because people were like, how'd you save up? And it's like, by getting a job and living with your family and not having bills to pay. But that's not the case with her because she won't have a job. But then she said, she's like, oh, I worked like 2 like weekends as like a bottle service girl. And it's like, do you mean a hostess at a strip club? Because that's the terminology that people use down here. I don't know if in like other places if they use that. But she's like, yeah. And so she's like explaining it. And it's like, girl, you're literally explaining like the server at the strip club that like is with the VIP table. She's like, yeah, so like we would all have like our own area. And it's like, you don't have to explain hospitality and like food and beverage to people, babe. I know you've probably never actually had a real job, but come on, we know. Yeah. And she's like, so we would like take care of like these like VIP tables and blah blah. And it's like you're just describing.
I mean, good for if that's actually the case, and you actually got a real job with real money that's your money and not other people's money that you've scammed and lied to get.
You can also make bank doing that. But you can make such good money.
She acts like she's a saint for having a job after getting exposed for like stealing like millions.
Well, yes, but also the way she phrased it was like, oh, I just worked like this many times and like now I don't have to.
Oh my God.
And so it's like, you know where this is going, the cycle of like, okay, so are you just going to do the same thing you've done for years and years?
Yeah, she probably found somebody who had money that was tipping her or whatever, and now she's leeching on to them.
Well, okay, so that too, but it's the getting enough or scamming enough to have the security deposit, but then never paying rent.
Oh, yes. That too. Yes, that is what she does. Yeah. Yeah, she always gets the security deposit, and then she basically squats until she's evicted.
So, back when everything first happened with Elizabeth and a lot of people were on her side still before the turntables had turned, before, we all realized what was what, we were more sympathetic. And I even had reached out to her and was like, hope you're doing well. Because, she's in Tampa too, was trying to be nice and also trying to plant that seed to be able to like interview her for my channel and all that. And there aren't that many like podcast studios for like that you can rent time at or whatever in South Tampa, but there are a few, but they're like stupid expensive and not good. But there is not really a WeWork situation, but it's a private professionals club thing that I was going to join. I'm still going to join it eventually. I just haven't had the time to figure all that out because I'm lazy. And they have a little it's very nice, a podcast studio room, whatever. And I had said, I was like, hey, I'm going to join this place at the end of this month. I was like, I would love to have, interview you basically. And I had even told her too, I was like, I had seen that you were looking for a place as well. If it is available, like I can help you out with that and whatever. Just, being a little too friendly as I am sometimes and like getting ahead of myself. And, that was fine. Whatever. So happy I did not associate myself with her. But then,
oh babe, you
yeah,
you
look out there.
You would have been snatched up in her claws. She would have freaking she would have taken advantage of you because you are that type. You were like her perfect victim. Like,
yeah, but then I would have ruined her life more than she has ever ruined her own life or anyone else's.
Absolutely.
She'd be in prison.
Absolutely.
Right now.
But
yeah,
it would have pissed me off because I can just see like the web she would try to weave with you.
Yes, Tony and I definitely do have lost puppy syndrome, is what my mom calls it. And it's just, we like adopt people basically and like do too much for them. And we should probably stop doing that. Like, no, go to the Humane Society. I am not your pound, okay? So no pound puppies here. Thank you very much. But yeah, so we like didn't talk for a while. And then, the tide started to turn and the truth and facts and receipts and all that started to come out. And so then I had asked her back in like February or March, are you available for an in-person interview? If you're not comfortable with that, that's okay. If you just want to answer some questions, blah, blah, blah. And I took screenshots of it so you can see all of our communication because there's no skeletons in my closet or my DMs. Thank you very much. But the thing is that it's so interesting is because in this live stream, she tries to call me out and the way she specifically omits certain information and attempts to spin her own narrative to make her look better and me look like I'm trying to manipulate a mom, which...
Oh, for fuck's sakes. I hope that people don't think like we're just like being like so like hard and harsh, but I think it's like because of the amount we've heard of the kids being excuses all the time and then nothing changes. She says that it is. She says that that's her intention. It's just not true. It's not true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways,
it's crazy. So that's obnoxious and I hate it. But she said, she's like, oh, well, you reached out to me and were like, hey, like mother to mother, like mom to mom, I just like really want to like talk to you about this. And it's like, hey, babe, actually what was said, and I have a screenshot of the transcription of my voice note that I sent her. And we've already talked about on this podcast that I was manipulating her. You got me. I was trying to bait her into sending me a voice note. So I sent a voice note.
Yeah.
So that we would be able to use it in the podcast. Did not work, but that's okay. Unfortunately for me. So yeah, I was being I don't want to say laying it on thick, but trying to do what I can. I wouldn't say I was being inauthentic, but as you do sometimes with sources, I said, I want to give you the chance to clear your name, mother to mother, because specifically if people were saying these things about my attributes and my experience being a mother and they weren't true, I would want to clear that up. And it's super simple to do so.
That's what she always portrays herself as. It's mother, mother, mother. My kids, I'm a mom, my kids. So why wouldn't you say, okay, like, I'm also a mom. So.
Girl.
Anyways, she's so manipulative.
You can be a mom and still be a dumb bitch. Okay?
Well, clearly. Clearly. And listen, I've also had my moments, you know?
Hello. Have you met?
But yeah, it's just wild. The manipulation is, I'm so done
outrageous.
With it. I can, and it bothers me. I know that, like, it's like a, what do you call it? Like, even a savior. It's like the advocate I don't even know what it is. Like, I get like so hyper focused on like when I see people doing wrong and lying. Like,
it's the justice.
Yes. The justice.
The need for justice or whatever. I need
it, and I get so hyper focused on it. I think that's why I'm also like so, I guess, like passionate about true crime, but even like talking with families and stuff like that, because I need to like know more and why. And if I see something that's wrong, like, I don't stop.
Yeah, I'd say that's where most of my audacity comes from, and like my pettiness towards scammers and con artists and all that bullshit, and all the girl bosses who are, you know, using their false altruism to sell some bullshit dream and opportunity, when in reality they're just financially exploiting people who are vulnerable for their own personal gain. And that's why I, for lack of a more professional phrasing, don't shut the fuck up. However, you know who should shut the fuck up? Elizabeth Chickenbroth. Our thing is done processing.
Okay, is it the one that says screen recording on the top there?
Yeah.
It's so bad that, like, I'm literally doing my makeup and I'm like, like, or I'm eating and I'm like, everyone is literally like, Elizabeth, why are you shaking? You look like a weirdo. And I'm like, my hands are always like they make, like, mentally it makes everything really good. That's just like the one side effect I have. I don't have any headaches. I don't have any depression. I literally don't have anything. But literally, like,
I love your typing.
So out of
I know.
control.
It's one of my favorites. It's like you can like feel my thought process.
The amount of people that shared this live, so weird.
Now watch the chin.
I absolutely have no interest in responding to any email. I haven't even read your email, and I don't really care to, if I'm being honest. You have blatantly got on the internet and lied, and I don't even mean my podcast. Somebody like said that I called someone a bad mother because you're doing a podcast about me. I did not. That's a lie.
Oh my God, no. Do we have the clip of that?
Okay, let's let her finish what she's saying first, because I do have a clip of it.
Oh, I'm pissed right now, man.
Yeah, no, I know.
That's blatant
Here we go. She's ready. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
And nobody block her. She can stay in. I don't care. But, like, that's a lie. I never called you a bad mother.
She said nobody block her, but then they muted me, so I couldn't even say anything. Like, that's basically blocking me. Okay, so she says that it's a blatant lie that she called us bad moms. However, if you go to the lower in this Google Doc that I sent you, here is her TikTok where she says that if you are talking about people on the internet, I'm paraphrasing here, but we'll have it come out of her goddamn mouth in 1 second. But she says, if you are on the internet and talking about other people, you are not being a good mom, a good sister, a good friend, a good whatever. Okay.
And said it right after she was like, I know about the podcast. I know about this. Like, I don't care. And if that's how you want to spend your time, like, oh my, okay.
And that video
roll the
is
clip.
roll the fucking clip.
I think that when I'm sharing my journey on TikTok, people think that it is a right to bash me or bring me down every single day. And if you want to utilize that right, go ahead. But I will say it will not and hasn't ever gotten to me. It doesn't get to me before, and it certainly won't get to me now. And the reason why it didn't get to me before is because I didn't care. I did not care because I didn't care who I was or what I was doing, right? The reason why it will not get to me now is because I know every single day that I get up every single day deciding to be a better person than I was yesterday and than I was the day before that. And I couldn't keep being the person that I used to be. And in order to not be that person, I have to change, right? And have I said I can change before in my life? Oh, for sure. I've said that. And I couldn't. I didn't have the resources, tools, the mindset, the accountability, any of those things. But I do now. And I'm grateful that I do. And I'm grateful that my mind is much more clear and I could see who I was and who I don't want to be and what changes need to be made. But I want to clarify really quickly. There can be 10 pages made about me. There can be 1,000 comments every minute made about me. There can be a podcast made about me. I do not care. I care about the people that I hurt. I care about my kids. I care about my family. I do not care about the people running the pages. I do not care about the mean comments. I do not care about the podcast. I don't care about any of those things. I don't look at them, I don't listen to them, and I do not read them. And if you think that I do, go ahead and keep going. But I have people that delete them for me so that I never have to, because I will not put my mental health on the back burner ever again in my life. And that means stepping up every single day to be the best person that I can be. And you don't get a choice to say to me that I can't change or that I can't be a better person, because I can. And I will. So you don't have to be here. I do not care if you're not here. And also, let me wrap this up by saying, just because I finally am standing up for myself on day 12 of getting beaten down by you guys again, let me say this. That doesn't mean I'm manic. That doesn't mean I don't care. That doesn't mean I haven't changed. I won't be bullied. I won't let you think that you're getting to me by bullying me. You're not. Keep utilizing the internet. Keep whatever else. Because one thing I do know is when I was sitting around talking shit about other people, or I was caring about what's going on the internet in someone else's life, or whatever else was happening, I was not being the best version of myself. There's no way that you're being the best mom that you are, that you can be by sitting around talking about someone else at night on the internet, creating fake pages, listening and documenting and commenting negative things. There's no way that you can be the best girlfriend that you can be, the best daughter-in-law that you can be, because all of those things are also an embarrassment. The fact that you're getting on the internet and doing that to someone, it's embarrassing. It really is. And you're not able to grow and fix yourself by doing that. You're not being a good mother, father, friend. And I don't mean friend to me, but I mean in general, you cannot grow as a person by doing these things online. So I can go to sleep right now at night knowing I need to make amends, and I'm trying my best to do that. I need to grow my mental health. I need to be the best mom that I can be. I need to fix a lot of things in my life that I have f***ed the hell up. And that is my own fault. But I'm going to sleep knowing and praying every day for a better day tomorrow, praying that my mental health stays on track. You guys are going to sleep smiling that you're bullying someone or talking to someone or making pages about them or whatever else. So I'll leave it at that. And for everybody else that has a positive attitude, I love you.
And that video is still on her TikTok, so you can go watch it. But let's go ahead and let her continue, because yes, she did say that. But again, it's the lying by omission, and conveniently, it's half truths is what it is.
That's all she does.
Because she didn't say us specifically. She did not say our names.
No, but she knew exactly what the she was intending and meaning, because it was the day that our trailer dropped, or I think that was actually the day that the first episode dropped, and she was being like asked and bombarded with it, and that was like her response to it. She was it was that was the day that it came out. So we know we're not stupid. You've f***ed with a lot of people who have unfortunately just been too kind and given you too much grace and believed you. Like, you've met your fucking match. I will not stop. You will not stop. Like, you. Oh my God, I'm so pissed off to say that.
Yeah. It's just wild to me that people still to this day believe her. I just have to imagine that these people have not looked at everything. They couldn't have. Yeah. But also what a lot of people are doing is they'll say like, oh, well, you're biased. And it's like, first of all, the way you are acting like she didn't do any of this, and the reason why you are believing her is because of your own biases, of the truth of what you went through, and you're believing what she says she went through, when in reality, allegedly, that's not even true. So that's even more disrespectful to the people who believe you, because they're believing you because the bullshit story that you are putting out there.
Well, and that's how she's conned her own. She's conned her own followers that way, who have like taken their experiences and like felt for her.
Yes,
like
and she makes it her own story.
Yes. Oh my God.
Being crazy. Let's continue, shall we?
Oh, I don't know.
You actually wrote me and said, mother to mother, I'd like to know your story on your own. And I said, I don't think that's in best interest of my children to get this on here. So then you turn that into a straight fight. I'm not suing anyone for defamation. Any money that I have is going to court for my kids. Not defamation over things that I did do, that I've taken accountability for. Like I said,
taking accountability.
That's okay. I have no hate, no shade, no anything. I had a problem when they were reaching out to people in my life, like my boyfriend, That was my issue.
So that's actually not true either. You actually reached out and said mother to mother. I'd love to know your story. That's not what I said. So if we scroll down in this Google Doc as well, you can see here that I said March 27th. Hi, Elizabeth. Do you have availability for an in-person interview? Never answered. Understandably so. I wouldn't have answered me either. Actually, if I was her, which thank God I'm not, I would have blocked me right away. But she didn't. And I said, hey again on April 1st. And God, it feels like this was years ago.
It does
Because we've
actually.
been
Just
dealing
I think
with
with
this.
so much stuff. Like holy.
This project has aged us.
No, it has.
I need to go see Injector Rachel. She's on maternity leave, so I can't. Hey again on April Fool's Day. My co-host and I will be covering the current situation on this week's podcast. This was before we even decided to do a separate podcast about it.
Yeah, because
On this week's podcast, and we want to give you the chance to clear everything up. Oh, and tell, not until. Talk to text, sorry. So people can actually see the full picture. If it's even just a phone call conversation with you that I can include in the podcast episode, I think that would be really helpful. She said, what are the equations? Questions. Okay. And I said, LOL, you answered too quick. Although I do appreciate it. LOL, I'm at a doctor appointment right now. And when I get home, I was going to prep the questions and read them with my co-host, and I'll send them over. She hearted it. And I said, I know it's super short notice, but would you be open to meeting up tomorrow? I'm not sure if you're still in South Tampa. I am. She said, I'm not. I'm traveling. She was at Ultra doing drugs, allegedly. And I said, okay, I'll finish writing up the questions and send them over tomorrow. And I said, all right, sorry about that. It was the next day. We've been trying to figure out a scheduling with Andrew to have him on a call. The questions are below within the last 2 years, blah, 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 and just went over everything. And then I said, that's it for now. I'm sure once we talk to Andrew, we will want to circle back. And in a voice note, again, I was trying to get her to send a voice note because since, like many states, but since Florida is a 2-party consent state, I can't record a phone call conversation without that other person consenting to it. However, if you record yourself, you are knowingly being recorded because you're recording yourself and sending it to someone. So if someone sends you voice notes, you don't have to get their consent to use that recording. That recording is now yours. So, you know. Anyways, but I said, sorry for sending a voice note, as anyone does. You always apologize first. And they said, I'm actually not sorry because I prefer voice notes. Chelsea, shut up. But I know those are a lot of questions, girl. So if you feel uncomfortable, don't even worry about it. Just let me know. I won't ask again. But I obviously want to give you the chance to say your piece, take accountability if any of these things are true. But I mean, as a woman and a mother myself, and just a good human in general, I don't want to just go off of what your husband is saying because obviously he is saying a lot, blah, blah, blah. So again, I said, as a mother and woman myself, I don't want to just automatically believe what the ex is saying.
And at that point, that's where we stood.
Yeah.
At that point, that's where we stood.
However,
Yeah. We hadn't even heard from everybody else at that point.
Correct. So the reason why she didn't want to talk to me is because I brought up something that was not public at all, and that she has not been called out for publicly. And that is that one of mine and Tony's friends, I went to high school with them. Tony became friends with them later. So their cousin, or the husband's cousin, was scammed by Elizabeth. And he gave her around $10,000, like 10 to 20, I think. And I guess they were like casually dating for a minute. And he allegedly was going to take her to small claims court. But then after threatening that, she like paid him back like a fourth of it. And he was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this. So I had asked her about that in the questions. And she said, can you provide context on the $10,000 in 2023? Who is this? Because no. And it's like, girl...
The fact that you would know who you've scammed and what amounts and what years, like to be like that one specifically, because we asked about other ones too.
Yeah, like, you know, hey, y'all want to see how easy this is? Sherilyn, in 2023, did you ever receive a lump sum of money such as around $10,000 from a man that you were allegedly dating?
No.
Oh, wow, look how easy that is. Huh. Interesting. And so I was saying, according to what has been alleged, this man interacted with you at the end of 2023, continued to do so for about 3 to 4 months, but I will respect his privacy and keep him anonymous. Like, girl, you know who it is. Or have you scammed so many people that you don't know?
I truly believe that. I truly believe that.
And then she was like, I can't even say because I don't even know what you're talking about. Then say no. Yeah. If you don't know what I'm talking about, say no. And then that's when she said that she won't be doing this. It is not in the best interest of my mental health and my kids right now. As I said, you are not in the best interest of your kids. It would be only to appease people online, which is no longer my concern. But good luck with your interview. And I said, okay, I appreciate your time. And then 8 days later, pardon me, she said, I want to formally let you know, formally, because nothing says formal like an Instagram DM. I want to formally let you know that I am filing a restraining order against you. You are harassing me now. Contacting my boyfriend is disgusting, and I am done letting you do this. I texted it to my husband, who is a master deputy with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. And guess what his response was? Ha, 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 ha. That's hilarious. And then he said, wait, did you contact her after you said the last DM? And I was like, no. And he goes, so she's going to get a restraining order or try to get one because you asked her boyfriend for a statement.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Because you contacted someone else. And I was like, yep. And he's like, that's insane. She's going to be wasting the court's time. And I was like, yeah, she's not actually going to do it.
That's all she does. And did you see in that live too from yesterday where people called her out because remember where she pretended that she had like filed for like her kids like to go back at Andrew like for joint custody or whatever. And people are like, that's not why you went to court. Now we know it was because of the podcast, like that's why you were at the courthouse. She's like, that's not even what I was talking about. I filed it online and I did it wrong. So now I have to do it again. It's like, bitch, that's all you do is you waste time to buy time to make it seem like you're doing things. You know what you're doing. You've impersonated an entire law firm. You have enough time on your hands to impersonate an entire law firm, a whole oncology team, and you don't know how to file paperwork properly when you've been to court and like charged how many times?
You know what's hilarious is that in one of her most recent, what happened? Sherilyn hung up on me. How dare you?
I got so heated my earpiece fell out and I think that had something to do with it. I don't know.
I got so mad technology started failing. So like I was saying, in one of her most recent, it was like a month ago, TikToks, she said, so you can just keep making fake accounts. Like, it could not be me. You know how much it takes we'll play it.
Hi, I'm not even out of my pajamas yet. And let's be honest. I want to clear a couple things up. I do not have to get off the internet in order to heal. I do not have to get off the internet just because you guys have an opinion that I have to. And it's really weird that you guys continue to think that I will just because you say so. This has been going on a year. I get thousands of comments a day telling me to get off the internet. I don't care. I will never care. I do not care what you guys say or what you guys think. And I don't have to. This is my page. And if you don't like it, it's so easy to leave. I can't imagine hating someone so much. Number one, a stranger, fine. But imagine letting a stranger make you so impressed that you spend hours a day creating fake pages, Reddit pages, comments, 50 different profiles. You know the work that it takes to make multiple profiles? You have to have like an email address, which means that you have to literally make new email addresses for each page that you create. And I don't know how you guys have it down pat because, I post a video, you have 5 new pages in a minute. I don't know if you got them lined up and ready for each video I post, but I'm not even blocking you guys anymore. Okay. Anyway, love you. I actually do love you guys. I love my haters. I really do. Because like, it's weird. You guys think you're bringing me down. You're not. Kind of makes my head a little bigger. A little bit. Because like, it feels, like it's giving obsessed. It is. So keep them coming. You're like Joyce over here. And I know what you're going to say. Wow, she's a big episode, right? Because she can't defend herself. Or guess what? She's crazy. Is that right? Let me guess. But you guys, it's so like comical at this point. I know exactly what you're going to say. Yeah. Anyway, love you. Have a great day.
But she's like, to make new emails and new accounts. And it's like, coming from the woman who like did a Google suite, like a
Stop
Google
it. She did not say that.
Yes.
Oh, we need that. I need that clip.
Amazing. Absolutely.
That clip's going in the podcast.
Yeah, so great. So let's go ahead and continue because this woman's insufferable and insane. Someone said drinking with those kinds of meds will do that. Yeah, she should not be drinking on that many medications if she's actually on.
Yeah.
Like even with Zoloft, you're not supposed to fucking drink.
Yeah, and I think I've got the one, it says like one of like the harder ones that she's on. It starts with an L.
Lexapro?
I don't know. And they're like people who have been on it are like absolutely not. Like you hold on, wait, what is it? I'm pretty sure I have a screenshot of it. Lamictal?
Ooh.
Lamictal.
So
the alcohol and Lamictal, my doctor was adamant not to drink one drink on that because it fast forwards tardive dyskinesia something. Whatever. She needs to stop. It can become permanent. So,
yikes. So after I commented, the floodgates, so many people started commenting. So someone said, "Can you sue for defamation over the podcast?" And that's when she starts saying like, "No, all of my money is going towards like getting my kids." And it's like, "No, it's not. That's never going to happen."
You had almost $1 million at that point from Richard Powell when her and Andrew were going to court. And she tried to play like, oh, he's the doctor. He got all the everything because he had all the money. No, he got custody because he was able to prove how absent you were and detached and needed help. You could have paid for an insane lawyer with $800,000. Instead, you bought a Land Rover in cash.
The way she makes it seem, she's like, he's a doctor in Florida.
Yeah. He's an isn't he an optometrist at the Walmart? No, he is.
That's diabolical. Yes. So he does not have a medical degree. Just like how a chiropractor, it's how people joke that chiropractors aren't doctors. He's not an ophthalmologist. He's an optometrist.
Is he?
There's a difference. Okay. One of them does checks your cataracts, and then another one will do one of them can do LASIK surgery, one can't. Okay, he's not doing surgery. He's fitting you for glasses and seeing what prescriptions you need.
Yeah, at the Walmart, which is fine. That's
go
fine.
Off, King, love it.
Yes, I would want to do that too. Have the overhead already paid for me by Walmart. And
girl,
who knows, by this
being a business owner sucks ass. Don't do it.
So, that's what bothers me is because she acts because she's lied and said that she has six practices. She got 6 ophthalmology centers.
She told people that she owned Lens Crafters and Warby Parker, the one in Hyde Park, which is like a little Rudy Tooty. I meant to say hoity toity, not Rudy Tooty.
A Rudy Tooty.
It's a rootin' tootinest. No, a hoity toity area in South Tampa. She said she owned Warby Parker. She told so many people that I'm friends with that information.
That's this episode is where we go through so much more of the lies and her dad being the equivalent of Duke Purdue or Duke Purdue. No, she was Purdue grad, Duke Energy in Canada. And it's like, babe, no, you're not.
So people started I unfortunately for her, hilariously for me, opened the floodgates here. And someone commented, "Why would anyone trust you with a child?" Yikes. But let's continue.
Because why cause problems in someone's actual current life? Talk about it, fine. Talk about me all you want. I literally don't care. I've never listened to it. I don't watch it. The only time I've ever seen anything is people sending me clips of things. But that's it. You, Alyssa, you actually don't know anything about that situation, unfortunately. I've stood by her a lot. And
she's talking about Rachel.
Yeah, so someone commented and said, "Did you make amends with Rachel? She stood by you through a lot." And she did. Unfortunately, when I had when I met and did an interview with Rachel, the thing she was saying, I was like, "Girl, I don't know how you let all this slide." And she was like, "Yeah, I mean, you could say that about anyone that was involved with her. It's like she sucks you in and you want to believe her. You want to help her." And
everybody said that, yeah.
Believe the good in people. But yeah, it's interesting that she's like, you don't know about this situation, you don't know about that situation. And if you actually had made amends with everyone involved that you've ever hurt and taken accountability for literally everything that you've ever done, and if you actually were a changed person, it wouldn't be affecting your current life right now. But the thing is that she hasn't and doesn't. And she keeps saying like, oh, people are saying that I can't change. And it's like, no, anyone can change, but you haven't.
You haven't. And like, yeah, like this one specifically never will until she makes amends and takes accountability.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like creepily smiling. I was about to say the Bean. Bean just woke up and I can hear him saying, Mama. Mama.
Yeah, like she just, it's saying one thing and doing something else, you know, like you just because you're saying it does not mean that it's true, and you're unreliable. You are a liar. Everything that comes out of her mouth is twisted in lies. Sure, there's probably a fraction of the truth in there. Most good liars have that so that they can keep track of something. Look at Sherry Papini. I just watched her documentary over the weekend so I could talk about it on the channel, and I was like, I saw so many similarities between the two of them. It was wild.
Yeah. It's the truth shrouded in lies, and it's like the MLM boss babes or any other type of scammer. It's you say like a certain amount of things that, you know, could make sense to some people or do make sense with certain situations, and to hook people just enough so that, okay, they're believing 30% of what you're saying, and maybe, you know, 70% is a lie, but that 30% is what's pushing them over the edge to believe you.
Right.
And it's just wild, man, that she will say things like this of, well, you reached out to these people and you don't know me and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, we're giving you a chance to make amends, to, you know, give facts, to do this and that, but you won't because you can't.
Well, and it's funny, like the way that she tries to make it seem, and it works for a lot of her audience, where she's like, I will never say something, and I won't say anything about that girl, you know, like she's talking about Rachel because I loved her and da-da-da. And it's like, well, you won't, because Rachel has way more on you. You her over, and her sister like lied so much to her, and anything that you think that you've stood by Rachel that makes, you know, like you the saint in this situation and the better person by not saying something, she's already talked about. So it's like, you have nothing on her. That's why you can't say anything.
100%. But also it's like, but you have said things. You're saying right now, like, oh, I will never say anything bad about her. But you have. But you just deleted the videos.
You crashed out, yeah.
Yeah, you crashed out, and we're crying after being at a bar and being drunk, even though you keep saying that you like you aren't drinking and that you went to rehab, that you went to drug rehab. You even if alcohol was not your problem, babe, that's a gateway. You should not be drinking for up to like a year after going to treatment. And she says that her treatment was so intensive.
Oh my God. I can't.
You shouldn't be going out to bars. Like, are you an idiot?
Yeah.
I just can't. Okay.
Her and I have worked this off the screen. I have nothing but respect for her in that department. I loved her very, very, very much, and that's all I'll ever say about that girl.
Someone said, I don't think it's fair for a stranger to make a podcast about you without ever talking to you. I have talked to her multiple times now, and we have asked for statements multiple times. Yeah. And before the podcast ends, I'm going to send an email asking like every single claim we make, or not even claim we make, but every claim that has been made. I'm going to send in a long ass email so that at the end of the podcast, if she wants to, she can do an interview with us, or she can just reply to the email, or just say no comment if you want. That's fine too, or deny everything. Giving you one last chance before it's over.
Is I loved her very much. Everyone has their own demons. Everyone has their own issues. Everyone has things that, how they handle situations when things go wrong. And that is all I ever have to say. I love her. I love her. I love her. My whole heart will always love her because she was my best friend. And there are things that unfortunately happen between the two of us. And I feel like that's on both sides. I don't need to talk about it anymore. And I don't mean that rude, Alyssa. Obviously, I sound fired up about that, but it's a sore subject for me. And I'm just going to leave it at the fact that I love her. I think that people mistake not taking accountability for also standing up for yourself. Those are two very different things. Just because I defend myself doesn't mean I'm not taking accountability for my own actions. Just because I defend people sharing a story and talking shit are two different things.
Sharing a story and talking shit are two different things. Absolutely. On this podcast, we talk shit. On our limited series podcast, we share a story. And she has also said so many times, people are getting it confused with, me sticking up for myself and me taking accountability. No, we're not. Because you're not doing one of them.
You're not taking accountability.
You're saying that you're taking accountability, but you're not.
Exactly. And in the meantime, you're still fucking people over.
Yeah.
That's the problem. This didn't stop with Andrew. Like, it's still, you're still in litigation with your podcast manager that you f***ed over. Your landlord how many, but like we know like the most recent one that you didn't pay. Like, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
she wasn't even supposed to live there. And Joaquin was like, hey, McKay, like, you're not supposed to have a roommate. And she's like, oh no, like, she's just staying here for like a weekend, or like, no, she doesn't live here. Meanwhile, he would see on both of their social medias like that they live together, and Liz kept posting like, oh, just two single moms like moving in together to like raise their kids together. McKay doesn't have any kids.
Oh my God, I can't. I fucking can't.
Yeah, so that's cool.
And people mix the two. They share the story, but they talk shit. So, then yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so someone said taking accountability doesn't mean she has to listen to people trash her. Again, is it telling a story or trashing somebody?
Yeah.
I can't help it if your own actions make you look bad.
And yeah, what does this mean? Taking accountability doesn't, what have you taken accountability for? Do any of you know, like, this is oh my God, these are the type of people that follow and support her, though. I mean, you can't help people who do not want to be helped and to see what's actually happening. She has not taken accountability. Taking accountability would be to admit you're wrong and make it f***ing right, which you have not done.
Correct.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hi. But yeah, so I think that like people don't understand that like I can defend myself, but also, I'm gonna start my cooking videos. It was hard because I was living with my family and like I just moved. So, okay, Kelsey. So now I'm gonna get back to it, which is my favorite thing. It brings me so much peace and joy. I have grown a lot, honestly.
Yeah, so she said that she had just moved, which is interesting. Yeah. So can't wait for her to be evicted in 5 months.
Like, there are sometimes I shock myself. Like, I will call Kelsey and I'll be like, listen, because like she's a therapist, right? She's not my therapist. Let me clear that up. But she's a therapist, and I'll call her. I mean, you can have a friend who's a specialty. If you have a doctor that's a friend, and you might be like, hey, I think I have a cold.
So she says that her friend Kelsey is a therapist.
Yeah. And this is part of her social media friend, because that's the same like Anne or whatever, or Annie, who was going on her lives and was just also crazy.
So psychotic.
They validate her. They think that she's just like the.
But girl, that's the thing is that there are people, like, when you're an influencer, when you're a public figure, there are people who like you, but then that they're like weird. Like, if that Annie girl was ever like a fan of me, I'd be like, no, block. I don't care if you like me. You're crazy and you're weird and you're making me uncomfortable. But she doesn't care about that. She just wants people who will obsess over her and believe her bullshit and perpetuate that as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's who those two girls are. They're not like, they don't even know her. They know her from online, from this type of lie bullshit.
How are you a therapist and you can't, like, you jail?
No,
jail.
You need your license revoked.
But she doesn't even have a license. She's probably not actually a therapist. It probably sells a course. I can't.
And they might be like, oh, Kelly, I love you. She's my aunt. Like, I could literally, like, I want to cry when I talk about, like.
So Kelly is her aunt. But I'm pretty sure that Kelly has been in my DMs.
Yeah.
Interesting. We're going to have a meeting about that after. Anyway, so she's like, yeah, you have. I'm so proud of you. And she's like, yeah, I've changed so much. No, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
No, you haven't.
You've gone online and said you've taken accountability, and it's like, to your own family, like, oh my God, your family's gonna love you regardless. And thank God, like, I'm happy that she does have. You don't want somebody to not have somewhere to go when they're actually ready to take accountability.
Yes, but we want the
Of
best for
course.
people. However,
Yeah, but this is not it. And the enabling is just like, oh. Anyways, next episode is, I'm actually so excited for this Friday for the episode to come out, because that's when we get more into even more people. At this point, it's pretty much just been lies and then like her over Andrew financially and Richard. And now we get into even more people.
yeah, I think I'm very excited. I've had so many people come up to me and be like, I'm obsessed with it. And people text me about it. A lot of our friends have been like, it is so funny hearing you and Tony just have like a legit, like play pretend domestic dispute on a podcast. And I'm like, listen, it's funny because like we don't record them together. He kicks me out of my office so he can record his. And
yeah, I know Brent too. He likes to do it in private.
yeah, they're professional, and it's very, very funny. But yeah, I don't know, just reading like how she treated him is horrible, and how she would go back and forth, and just like the terrible shit that she would do and say is just so sad.
It is. And I think
So
that's what I hope people can listen. Like Andrew's part is pretty much done. And there's like a little bit of a wrap up, obviously, when we wrap everything up. But like if you don't want to hear it from him, if for whatever reason it's hard to like follow along, I would encourage you to listen, because yeah, he didn't deserve what he went through. And you can see somebody who was married to somebody that he loved and thought that it was going to work, wanted it to work, and was taking care of these kids. And then each time like he's trying to get away, she's reeling him back in. She's very good at that, you know, like, and yeah, anyways, I feel for him.
Yeah, it sucks. Can't imagine that. And then, you know what? At least he got 2 beautiful little daughters out of it.
Yes, and he does seem like a phenomenal dad. I will definitely say that. He's pretty funny too, actually. Like when you actually listen to like certain things, even like on his lives, like of course, like the questions like he's always getting asked are about Elizabeth, so it makes it seem like he is. But when he just did that recent podcast, he did a clip of it on his thing, and then it was like, this is the best the best like interviewee that they've ever had or whatever. And it's like,
Girl,
he knows, like,
have you followed his actual TikTok?
yeah.
There was one, I'll find it and play it, but I was like, I commented and I was like, Andrew, this is diabolical. He's like dancing around and clapping and like doing a trend, but like
Oh, I
facetious.
saw it because she did that. Yeah, she did it, so he did it after. I'm like, what else are you gonna do? There is the biggest fucking spider making its way to me right now. I have to go.
Oh my God. Okay, bye. Stay delusional. Are you okay?
No, stay feral. I love you guys so much. Listen to the podcast. Bye.